Biomed, Nexus, daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Kailera Therapeutics, KLRA, priced its IPO at 16 share on Thursday, raising $625 in one of the largest biotech IPOs in history and the largest by a venture-backed biopharma company, according to Biopharma Dive data. Shares surged 63% on Friday to close at $26, giving the obesity-focused biotech a market cap of approximately $3. 5B, the offering was double digits oversubscribed. Foundayo, or Forglipron, logged on 1,390 US prescriptions in its first week on the market, according to IQVIA data cited by Reuters and multiple analysts. The data reflects approximately 2 days of capture ending April 10th. Jefferies analyst Akash Tiwari called the initial scripts excellent. AACR 2026 is underway in San Diego, April 17th to 22. Revolution Medicines, RVMD, presents late-breaking earlier-phase data on daraxonrasib plus chemotherapy in first-line pancreatic cancer tomorrow, April 21st. UCB reached a deal to acquire Neurona Therapeutics, a private company developing cell therapy for drug-resistant epilepsy, for up to $1. 15B Replimune, REPL, confirmed layoffs of 63 employees following its second FDA rejection of RP1 in advanced melanoma. Executive takeaway Kailera's IPO tells you everything you need to know about the obesity market in April 2026. An 18-month-old company built around Chinese-licensed GLP-1 assets just raised $625 and surged 63% on day one. The offering was double digits oversubscribed. Bain Capital affiliates took $225 at the IPO price. That level of demand for a pre-revenue obesity biotech in a market already dominated by Lilly and Novo signals that investors believe the 200B obesity opportunity by 2030 has room for multiple winners. And the timing matters. Foundayo's first prescription data came in the same week, 1,390 scripts in roughly 2 days of capture. That is a solid start, but notably below Novo's oral Wegovy, which logged 3,071 prescriptions in its first 4 days. The measurement periods are different, so direct comparison is imperfect, but the early signal suggests Lilly is launching into an established competitor with momentum. Meanwhile, AACR is live in San Diego, and the biggest presentation of the conference drops tomorrow. Revolution Medicines' late-breaking data on daraxonrasib combination therapy in first-line pancreatic cancer. If the combination data matches the monotherapy Phase 3 results from 2 weeks ago, Revolution's case for a practice-changing franchise becomes even harder to argue against. Read full analysis. What to watch. AACR tomorrow, April 21st. Revolution Medicines' late-breaking earlier-phase data on daraxonrasib plus chemotherapy in first-line metastatic PDAC. 9 total presentations across the RASON pipeline, including Phase 3 NSCLC trial design and next-gen RASON compounds. Pharma Q1 earnings season kicks off this week. Novo Nordisk's first oral Wegovy revenue numbers are the most anticipated data point. Lilly will address Foundayo launch trajectory and competitive positioning. Other companies expected to discuss Section 232 tariff positioning and M&A appetite. Kailera post-IPO. Trading. First full week of trading for KLRA. Watch whether the 63% day one pop holds or fades as lock-up dynamics and short-selling pressure emerge. The 3.5B market cap will need to be justified by ribupatide Phase 3 data. Foundayo TRX trajectory. Week 1 data is in. Week 2 and 3 data will determine whether Foundayo's launch curve is accelerating as retail pharmacy access expands. Top story, Kailera breaks the biotech IPO record with a $625 billion debut. KLRA, what happened? Kailera Therapeutics priced its IPO at $16 per share on April 16th, selling approximately 39 million shares for gross proceeds of $625 billion. The offering was upsized from the original 33. 3 million shares marketed at $14 to $16 and was double digits oversubscribed. Shares began trading Friday on the Nasdaq under the ticker KLRA and surged 63% to close at $26, giving Kailera a market cap of approximately $3. 5B. Underwriters have a 30-day option to purchase up to 9 million additional shares, which could bring total proceeds above $700 million. The company, Kailera, was founded in 2024 around assets licensed from China's Jiangsu Hengrui Pharmaceuticals. CEO Ron Renaud previously led Cerevel Therapeutics through its $8.7b acquisition by AbbVie. Existing shareholders including Bain Capital Private Equity, Bain Capital Life Sciences, and Qatar Investment Authority indicated interest in purchasing up to $225 of shares at the IPO price. Lead underwriters are J.P. Morgan, Jefferies, Leerink Partners, TD Cowen, and Evercore. The pipeline, Kailera is advancing 4 clinical-stage GLP-1-based obesity candidates. Lead asset ribupatide, KAI-9531, is a once-weekly injectable GLP-1-bound GIP dual agonist currently in 3 global phase 3 studies. In a late-stage study in China, ribupatide showed 18% average body weight loss at 48 weeks. An oral formulation of ribupatide is also in development, with a phase 3 expected to start as early as H1 2027. Additionally, Kailera is advancing KAI-7535, a daily oral GLP-1, through phase 2. Approximately $625 million is allocated to injectable ribupatide development through Q2 2028, 150 meters for oral ribupatide and 50 meters for KAI-7535 phase 2. Executive impact: this IPO is a market signal. It confirms that investor appetite for obesity assets remains enormous, even in a market already led by Lilly's Foundayo, Zepbound, Novo's Wegovy, and Ozempic. Biopharma Dive noted this is the largest IPO by a venture-backed biopharma company in their dataset. Kailera joins Q1 IPOs from Generate Biomedicines, $400, and Icon Therapeutics, $381 million, bringing total 2026 Biotech IPO proceeds above $2. 3B. The obesity market is now attracting both the largest M&A deals, Pfizer, Metsera, 10B, and the largest IPOs in biopharma history. Clinical and research updates: Foundayo logs 1390, prescriptions in first week, LLY. What happened? Foundayo, orforglipron, was prescribed 1390 times in its first week on the US market, according to IPO data reported by Reuters. Analysts noted the data reflects approximately 2 days of prescription capture ending April 10th. Foundayo became available through Lilly Direct on April 6th and expanded to retail pharmacies on April 9th. The competitive context: Novo Nordisk's oral Wegovy recorded 3071 US prescriptions in its first 4 days after launching January 5th. Foundayo's first week number trailed Wegovy's early velocity by roughly 55%, though the different measurement periods, 2 days of capture versus 4 days, complicate direct comparison. Barclays noted that Novo's figures reflected retail prescriptions only and did not include NovoCare pharmacy fills. Executive impact: Jefferies analyst Akash Tiwari called Foundayo's initial scripts excellent. Consensus estimates Project Foundayo needs approximately 4 million prescriptions from April through December to hit $1. 7B in 2026 revenue. The stock barely moved on the news, down 0.11%, suggesting investors are waiting for several weeks of data before forming a view. The real question is acceleration. Retail pharmacy access expanded on April 9th, and telehealth partnerships are scaling up. If week 2 and 3 numbers show a meaningful ramp, the slower start narrative will shift quickly. Foundayo's advantage remains convenience. No food or water restrictions, take any time of day. Novo's oral Wegovy requires a 30-minute fasting window. Corporate and Business Development's UCB acquires Neurona Therapeutics for up to $1. 15B UCB reached a deal on Friday to acquire Neurona Therapeutics, a private company developing cell therapy for drug-resistant epilepsy, for up to $1. 15B, the acquisition expands UCB's neuroscience franchise and adds a novel cell-based approach to seizure control in patients who do not respond to existing anti-epileptic drugs. UCB has been building its epilepsy portfolio alongside its established position in myasthenia gravis, Rystiggo, and psoriasis, Bimzelx. Replimune lays off 63 employees, REPL. Replimune confirmed layoffs of 63 employees, including a substantial reduction in U.S. manufacturing operations, following the second FDA complete response letter for RP1 in advanced melanoma on April 10th. CEO Sushil Patel disputed the FDA's criticisms and said the company received inconsistent communications. Replimune plans to request a Type A meeting with the FDA within 30 days. The week in review, April 13th, Monday. Revolution Medicines reported Phase 3 daraxonrasib data in pancreatic cancer, 13 2 months median OS versus 6 7 months, HR0, 40 P0001. RVMD surged 41%. April 14th, Tuesday. Novartis CEO Vas Narasimhan appointed to Anthropic board, trust appointed majority. April 15th, Wednesday. Revolution Medicines priced 2B in upsized concurrent offerings, $1, 5B stock at 142 share, plus 500 Mentors convertible notes. Largest follow-on stock offering in biopharma history. Beeline Medicines emerged from stealth with 300 Mentors and 5 BMS licensed immune disease assets. April to 15th, Wednesday. Takeda terminated partnership with Veritas in silico on mRNA, April 16th, Thursday. Kailera Therapeutics priced IPO at 16 share, raising $625 million. AbbVie acquired NaV1. 8 pain inhibitors from Haisco. April 17th, Friday. Kailera surged 63% to close at 26.35B market cap. Foundayo logged 1390 TRX in first week, IQVIA. UCB acquired Neurona Therapeutics for up to $1 at 15B. Replimune laid off 63 employees. AACR 2026 opened in San Diego. The week ahead. Today, Strategic Alliance Management for Pharma, Barcelona. Tomorrow, April 21, AACR, late-breaking data. Daraxonrasib plus chemo in 1L PDAC, earlier phase RVMD. AACR 2026 through April 22nd, San Diego. April 18 to 22, AAN 2026, annual meeting, Chicago. April 22 to 24, ACE 2026, Las Vegas. This week, Pharma Q1 earnings begin. Novo Nordisk oral Wegovy revenue. Lilly Foundayo commentary expected. April 28 to 29, Pharma Partnering US Summit, San Diego. May 6, Royalty Pharma Q1 earnings. May 12 to 14, Fierce Biotech Week, Boston. Read Full Analysis Biomed. Nexus Pro Institutional Intelligence Brief. Kailera, Chinese, Pipeline, American launch. Kailera's model is becoming a template. License clinical stage assets from a Chinese pharma company, Jiangsu Hengrui. Hire a proven US CEO, Ron Renaud, ex-Cerevel. Back it with top-tier VC, Bain Capital. Build US-based supply chains to mitigate geopolitical risk and go public into an obesity-hungry market. The formula just produced a $625 IPO and a 63% day one pop. The question is whether ribupatide can differentiate in a GLP-1 market that already has Zepbound, Wegovy, Foundayo, and oral Wegovy on the market or in late-stage development. Kailera's pitch is that ribupatide was designed to have a superior clinical profile to Zepbound with potentially higher potency and longer-lasting effects. The 18% weight loss at 48 weeks in the Chinese study is competitive but not clearly differentiated from Zepbound, roughly 18 to 22% depending on the trial and dose. The oral formulation and daily oral GLP-1 KAI 7535 give Kailera optionality, but those are years behind Foundayo and oral Wegovy. The real value may be in the pipeline breadth. 4 clinical stage obesity candidates across injectable and oral, GLP-1 and GLP-1 GIP, give Kailera multiple shots on goal If any one of them demonstrates a differentiated profile in Phase 3, the company becomes an acquisition target at a premium to its current $3 5B valuation. Foundayo launch, reading the first data point. The 1390 TRX number needs context. IQVIA data for the week ending April 10 reflects approximately 2 days of capture. Foundayo was shipped through Lilly Direct starting April 6th and hit retail pharmacies on April 9th. So the first week of data is really the first 48 hours of broad availability. For comparison, Novo's oral Wegovy logged 3071 prescriptions in its first 4 days. Normalizing for days of capture, roughly 695 scripts day for Foundayo versus 768 day for Wegovy pill. The launch velocities are in the same neighborhood. The 55% gap in raw numbers largely reflects the shorter capture window. What matters now is the week 2 and week 3 trajectory. Foundayo's convenience advantage, no fasting, no water restrictions, should drive adoption among patients who are aware of both options. Lilly's DTC marketing push and telehealth partnerships will determine how quickly awareness translates into scripts. Analysts project 4 million prescriptions needed to hit $1 on 7B in 2026 revenue. That requires sustained weekly volumes of roughly 14,000 TRX by year-end, a massive ramp from 1390. Every GLP-1 launch has followed a steep adoption curve, and the infrastructure now exists. Lilly Direct, telehealth, 7,000 plus pharmacies to support one. But it is too early to declare victory or concern. AACR tomorrow. What drops? The most important AACR presentation is tomorrow's late-breaking session on Revolution Medicines' daraxonrasib plus chemotherapy in first-line metastatic PDAC. This is earlier phase data, not from the Resolute 303 Phase 3, which only began dosing April 2. The key questions: does the combination show additive benefit over monotherapy? Is the safety profile acceptable when layering daraxonrasib on top of chemotherapy? What dose was used? Other AACR presentations to watch: GSK's ADC data, Fierce Biotech, teased hotly anticipated data on 2 ADCs from GSK's head of oncology R&D, emerging immune checkpoint combinations, and early-stage RAS-on platform data from Revolution's broader pipeline. Catalyst calendar, April 2026. Forward date event tickers, now AACR 2026, through April 22 San Diego. Multiple now, Foundayo commercial rollout, week 2 PLE, TRX, data pending LLY now Kailera, KLRA, first full week of post-IPO trading KLRA tomorrow, AACR late breaking, daraxonrasib plus chemo in 1L PDSC, earlier phase, RVMD this week, pharma Q1 earnings, Novo oral Wegovy revenue, others, NVO, LLY, multiple April, 22-24 August 2026, Las Vegas, multiple April 28-29 Pharma Partnering US Summit, San Diego, multiple May 6 Royalty Pharma. Q1 earnings RPRX May 2026 Replimune. Type A meeting with FDA expected RePLH2 2026 B-line. Medicines Afimatoran Phase 2 SLE readout Private H2 2026 Revolution. Medicines CNPV NDA filing. Expected RVMD 2026 Sanofi Amlitelimab AD filing targeted SNY 2026 ESCO. Full Resolute 302 data presentation RVMD Q2 2026 Gilead Tubulis. Close expected GILD Q2 2026 Gilead RCLX. Close expected GILD Q2 2026 Biogen Apellis. Close expected BIB within 90 days. Neurocrine Soleno close. Expected NBIX late May 2026. Commerce. Section 232 report on medical devices. Expected MDT BSX SYK. ISRG June 2026 Takeda CEO transition. Julie Kim. Take KH2 2026 Revolution. Medicines Resolute 309 doublet trial initiation RVMDH2 2026 Novo Nordisk weekly US launch. First weekly insulin. NVO July 1 Foundayo Medicare. Part D pricing 50-month. Targeted LLY July 31 section. 232 pharma tariffs effective. Large companies. Multiple mid-2026 Lilly Retatrutide Phase 3 obesity readouts. Triumph program. YSEPT 19 Ultragenics UX101 PDUFA. Sanfilippo Type A gene therapy. Rare Sept 29 Section 232. Pharma tariffs, effective, all other companies. Multiple end of 2026 Pharma CEO transition NA visit. The ProHub read, full article, is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2,104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing.